Hey guys, it's Bree. I am in the process of moving this week, so I don't have a huge update, hence the kind of more vlog style approach. Instead, what I thought I would do, in keeping with the spirit of Friday the 13th, would be to tell you my top 5 favorite horror and occult stories. It is Friday the 13th. It is kind of one of those days. The first book I would recommend is Arthur Miller's The Crucible. It's a play that takes place during the Salem witch trials about the girls and women who kind of led the town astray and got them to believe that they were witches. It's filled with a lot of suspense, a lot of really great stuff happens. Miller does a fantastic job. If you're not feeling like you want to read and sit down and read a play, even though it's only, I think it's about 100 pages. There is a movie adaptation with Winona Ryder that I think is available for streaming. If not, maybe you have a video store still. Do those still exist in the world? I don't know. The second story that I would recommend is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I just finished this one on audiobook and it's pretty fantastic. The story in its original form is written in letters and conveys the kind of horrors of this man who lives in Sweden and has decided to play God, essentially. I think we all kind of understand that basic part of the plot. It's a pretty quick, listen, and I know that there are tons of movie adaptations, but it is also one of those really interesting stories of hubris, and I think Mary Shelley does a fantastic job of she's just kind of a fantastic person in general, but, her and her whole family. But Frankenstein is just a masterpiece. There's a reason it's a classic. The third book is a little bit more modern. They do have a movie adaptation of it coming out, I think, with Dan Radcliffe. At least that's what I've heard, and I've seen a trailer with him in it. It's Horns by Joe Hill. Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, and he has taken up writing as well. It's about a boy who wakes up after kind of a drunken night mourning his ex-girlfriend, and he has horns on his head, and he starts being able to do things like talk to snakes. He doesn't know what's going on. Everybody kind of is compelled to tell him their deepest, darkest secrets. And it's a pretty good read. It's pretty quick too. I think I read it in like a day and a half. The fourth story I would tell you to read is The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. This is a classic written in the 1800s, and if you love Jane Eyre, I think you'll get a kick out of this one. It is that typical kind of girl goes to a stranger's house to become a governess, thinks she's falling in love with the guy, but then there's something really, really wrong happening at that house. There's kind of occult references throughout it, and ghosts, and horrible things that happen in woods. This one doesn't have a movie adaptation, but it is pretty fantastic, and it's only about 100 pages as well. It's a pretty quick read. I think you could probably get it done if you wanted to, probably in just one afternoon. And then the fifth book that I would recommend is Jean Ajvide Lindqvist's Let the Right One In, and this also has a movie adaptation that came out very recently. Lindqvist is a Swedish author whose story revolves around a young boy who gets this new friend and neighbor, and the neighbor only comes out in nighttime. But Lindqvist has a really kind of cool and interesting take on the vampire trope. He really does a great job of developing his characters, and his story, if not always like terrifying, is pretty suspenseful and intense. So that's what I have for you guys this week. All my information, as always, is in the down bar below. Let me know what you're reading. If you have any suggestions for really great horror stories, I would love to hear them. I will see you guys later. Bye.